Hey there everyone, I'm meteorologist Cassie Knoll and this is your 10 weather impact recap for the week. Let's start with a look at the top weather headlines from around the country. The famous cherry blossoms are in full bloom in Washington, D.C. The famous trees were planted in 1912 as a gift of friendship to the people of the United States from the people of Japan. Each year, the Yoshino cherry trees put on a show, creating gorgeous clouds of white and pink flowers floating around the tidal basin. Drew Wilder reports from our nation's capital.
Like miniature explosions of new life by the millions. A fresh start bursting into a canopy that's less of a ceiling and more of a window. A look into who we really are in this city.
All right, there we go, guys.
Humans eager for connection.
I've taken pictures of other people and then I've asked people for pictures. It's been so much fun.
Unlocking future core memories for our babies and taking the picture that will one day smile back on a walk through our homes.
It is so pretty.
As we watch the seasons change in real time, we feel the weight of the world, one headline at a time. From this agency today, that agency tomorrow. Sitting on the edge of the tidal basin as the sun sets on peak bloom, the puffy white flowers are a deep, calming breath.
To move closer to the center of things that are causing a lot of heaviness, to find the peace amongst all that is really, really nice.
Jake and Tori live and work here in D.C., and like most of us, they have no clue what tomorrow might bring. But right here, right now, spring blossoms hope.
It's just making things a little bit lighter and, people coming in from around the world to look at trees and flowers is so beautiful.
No one is suggesting that a walk through the trees is going to heal the damage of job loss or funding cuts, but maybe it offers a reflection, a reminder that life goes on and we blossom the fullest together.
In northern Michigan, more than 300,000 people were without power after a winter blast of freezing temperatures and ice over the weekend. This was the scene across multiple counties in the Great Lakes state. The weight of the ice brought trees and power lines down across roads, bringing travel to a halt. And in Vermont, freezing rain left parts of the state encased in ice last weekend. Slippery travel lingered in pockets through Sunday as residents also faced downed trees and power outages. At the height of the storm, more than 14,000 customers were without power. Residents who have lived in the region for decades say they've never seen an ice storm quite like this. Crews worked throughout the day on Monday to restore power and clean up the damage. In South Carolina, heavy rain on Monday helped with the Table Rock Complex fires in Pickens and Greenville counties. The fires have been burning for more than a week, and while the rain wasn't enough to put out the flames, it did help to dampen the leaves and trees enough to slow down the spread of the flames and allow firefighters to deepen their containment lines. Authorities say 4 people are now facing charges in connection to that fire that started in the Table Rock State Park. The fire has scorched more than 30,000 acres, and containment is at 30%. And in North Carolina, as of April 2nd, the statewide burn ban has been lifted. The ban has been in effect since March 21st due to dry conditions and abundant fuel. Widespread rainfall earlier this week helped to decrease the overall fire danger and helped crews currently battling several large fires in Swain, Haywood, and Polk counties. However, the conversation about the fire danger in areas damaged by Helene is far from over. The widespread downed trees will continue to pose a risk anytime we have an extended period of dry weather in the region. When Helene struck last fall, a popular hostel along the Appalachian Trail suffered devastating damage. 6 months later, Uncle Johnny's is open and able to house hikers. It's been a long journey for the owner. Emily Crabtree traveled to Unicoi County and shares his story.
It felt like for a long time it wasn't going to happen. And then with February, we started getting more and more hikers, and it was like, okay, yeah, 2025 is here. The hikers will be back. So.
Irwin is a popular stop for people on the Appalachian Trail, and Uncle Johnny's Hostel near the Nolichucky River is a famous spot for hikers to put up their feet. But when Hurricane Helene hit, they weren't sure if they'd be open for the season.
There was a bridge there, and until that broke, it was pushing all the debris up right where we're standing, and there was a mountain of debris at least this high when I showed up here.
Terry Wise owns Uncle Johnny's. He says they've spent the last 6 months cleaning up to be able to house hikers passing through.
There's about 3,000 to 4,000 hikers a year that come down, just through hikers, that come down every year right off the mountain in front of me.
Wise says that even at their lowest moment, Uncle Johnny's was still housing a few hikers who came through.
We've had a mess for a long time, but everybody that came down the trail, we tried to help them out as best we could.
And some of those hikers even helped them rebuild the campground.
There was a few hikers that were here and they just snapped into action. There's people that came from Georgia and other places that had been here before and they just wanted to jump in and help Uncle Johnny's.
And other hikers tell me they've been thankful for the work that's been put in.
Trail's right here, Uncle Johnny's right here. Thank God they rebuilt in time, so really appreciate all the work everybody did to get ready for the 25 hiker season.
Reporting in Irwin, I'm Emily Crabtree.
Uncle Johnny's Hostel and the Appalachian Trail Conservancy have teamed up with Wahoo's Rafting Company to help ferry hikers across the Nolichucky River. The bridge along the Nolichucky near Irwin was destroyed when floodwaters from Helene swept through the region, and the route around the old crossing would add hours and extra miles to the hikers' journeys. Wahoo's Rafting Company adjusted their business plan to help the hikers safely cross the river and keep their guides employed.
When the hurricane changed our season so drastically, he started thinking creatively, well, how can I get my people paid? How can we still, put boats in the water?
When they started 2 weeks ago, they were helping 1 to 2 hikers per day, but now they are getting into the teens. Once the main group of hikers arrives, they expect to ferry more than 50 people each day across that river. And between now and June, more than 3,000 hikers are expected to pass through Irwin.
It's a really awesome collaboration because the raft guides are helping the hikers and the hikers are in turn helping the raft guides have jobs.
A true win-win for both sides. Now let's switch to a recap of the month of March. We had a soggy finish to the month, but without that heavy rain during the final days, last month would have been the driest March in over a decade. The overall weather themes for last month were warm, dry, as in the low humidity and the lack of rain, and windy. That combination gave us an elevated fire danger, and while we are currently seeing a brief respite, that danger will return quickly if we don't see regular rounds of rain moving forward. Now, with so many warm days on this calendar, overall temperatures in the month of March were in about 3.5 degrees above average, and our warmest temperature last month was 81. We're going to be passing that temperature as we finish out this week. And looking ahead to the month of April, the Climate Prediction Center is showing confidence in the possibility of above average temperatures overall for the month. There's a large swath of high confidence in above average rainfall to our west, but that's due to the current forecast. Those areas could see up to a foot or more of rainfall between now and the weekend. That's a story we will follow up next week with our recap. Now, the crazy thing about weather in East Tennessee is that some of our biggest snow events have actually happened outside of the winter season. A huge snowstorm in April is pretty uncommon, but it was no joking matter when 10 to 15 inches of snow fell on April 3rd and 4th in 1987. Over 3 feet of snow fell in the highest elevations of the mountains. Now, the unfortunate part is that trees already had their leaves, so the weight of that heavy spring snow made a mess of the area for weeks. Now, we're not talking about snow this year. We're talking about the potential for record highs at the end of this week, but you should still be prepared for some weather whiplash as chilly air will follow that front on Sunday. In fact, we're watching for the possibility of frost or even freezing temperatures next Tuesday and Wednesday mornings. This is why we generally say to wait until after tax day to plant your sensitive plants to give them the best chance of survival. Our average last frost date is average last freeze is April 1st, and our average last date for a frost is April 14th. But Mother Nature doesn't always stick to that calendar. The latest frost and freeze on record in Knoxville have both happened in May. The National Weather Service won't issue frost or freeze alerts until May 1st, if needed, so you'll need to pay extra attention to the forecast if you have agricultural interests. The month of April is peak wildflower season in the Smokies, and the Park Service wants to remind everyone that if you love something, you need to let it grow. As we gear up to swoon over those beautiful blooms, it's important to remember not to love them to death. In recent years, particularly in the White Oak Sinks area, there has been a noticeable decline in the wildflower populations due to trampling and soil compaction. There are some tips now to enjoy what nature has to offer. Stay back and zoom in. When capturing the flowers, respect their space and zoom in to get that perfect shot. And keep it small. When visiting, limit group sizes to 8 people or fewer, stick to established trails, and be mindful of where you step. And plan ahead. This is a busy time of year in the Smokies, and parking is limited in some areas. Please park only in legal parking areas with a parking tag displayed. Keeping off road shoulders and grass helps to keep you safe and keeps that park pristine. And continuing with our national park news, Kewohi Road, formerly known as Klingman's Dome Road, has opened for the season. The road is closed during the winter months due to the frequently icy conditions and may still close periodically during inclement weather. At an elevation of 6,643 feet, Kewohi is the highest mountain in Great Smoky Mountains National Park, the highest point in Tennessee, and the third highest peak east of the Mississippi River. It's a short but steep hike on that paved trail to get to the tower, but the views, they're worth it. Now let's take a look at your 7-day forecast in case you're doing any outdoor activities for the next several days. Up on the northern plateau and into southeast Kentucky, we're going to be watching for the potential of a few showers and storms to move into the area. That's why we have those rain chances on both Thursday and Friday and even on Saturday as well. Most of our viewing area as of right now looks to be dry, but it's all going to depend on the positioning of that frontal boundary, so you'll need to check back for updates to the forecast. We're also talking about near record highs from Wednesday all the way through the day on Saturday, with temperatures running 15 to 20 degrees above average. Then the front actually comes through on Sunday, a chance for some heavy rain and maybe a couple strong storms on Sunday. Check back for updates to that day as well. And then we've got that cooler air I was talking about moving in as we go into next week, when we'll be talking about potential frost and freezing temperatures. Some weather whiplash here as we moved into the month of April. Thank you so much for watching. And remember, you can always get the very latest with your forecast in the 10 News app. It's free to download in the App Store.